Hey everyone, Brendan Center here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me, and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds, where I like to collect together all the different things that I've picked up over the past week, present it to you guys. I get it from different places, my local record store, but also online retail like Amazon, eBay, and more. Always shopping around, always looking for cool finds. I've got a bunch of them here, 13 in fact, different CDs to run through with you guys. We'll get into it in just a bit, but before we start, if you're new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, if you turn on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on really cool things like this here with New Music Finds, where hopefully turn you guys on to some new stuff, give you a little bit of feedback where it is and why I chose to buy something, and maybe perhaps help make a decision for you about something. And we're going to start off with some new releases. I did a full review of this one here, but the brand new Dream Theater album, Parasomnia, it's their 16th studio album, and first in 16 years to feature the return of founding member and drummer Mike Portnoy. So very, very cool to get him returning to this. And like I said, I have done a full review of this. So if you want to, check that out, I get into it far more detail than I am going to do right now with this. But all in all, bottom line on this is it's a solid Dream Theater album. It's a good album. It did not blow me away and it did not pull me in right from the get-go. I had to work very hard in order to really dive into this album, and it took multiple listens. So I call the album, I think I described it in the review, I said it is a patient listen because it took multiple listens. The singles that came out did not impress me. In context of the album, though, those three songs are a lot better. And as a whole, the album together, there's a very long 5+ minute instrumental, but it's also a long intro because it starts with sound effects and then it builds again, and then eventually some music starts. But it's about 2.5 minutes in before the song actually starts. You get about another 2.5+ minutes of it there. No vocals, instrumental. So we don't get anything until we get into the second track, and then another 2 minutes into it or so. And then finally, James LaBrie, the vocalist, starts singing. And I'm not only here to hear him sing, but I do feel like 7-8 minutes in before we hear the vocalist is not kind of how I want to do it. So that left a bad taste in my mouth. That said, I've warmed up to that. Normally, I would skip something like an intro, but it adds context and there's dialogue in the background at different times and sound effects and things. And there's the whole theme of dreaming throughout this. And it all ties it together really nicely. So I do have to say, as a whole, complete piece of music, I actually really like the album. But in terms of having songs that would jump out, grab me, memorable, want to go back and play that song, I didn't find that on the album. So I think you really have to be a Dream Theater fan and be willing to sit with it a bit. And then, perhaps it's going to do for you ultimately what it's doing for me. And I hear for others, but there's a lot of people on the fence. It's kind of a split thing down the middle where people are they're not upset with it, but they're also not happy with it. It's just not, it's kind of So anyways, that's Dream Theater. This one came out a week or two back, I think, but I didn't get my copy. It was back ordered. I had to wait a little bit for it. Bonfire, Higher Ground. So first album of new original material with their new vocalist, Dylan. We still have Hans Ziller, the guitar player, has been there since '85. And remember, the band goes back to the '70s. So they've been around for a long, long time. But I think '85 was the debut album, which I'm now just realizing is turning 40 this year. How cool is that? And the last few Bonfire albums I have enjoyed. They've been good for what they were. But I gotta say, I think this one here is blowing them away. This one is the closest in returning to the sound of the '80s that I liked from them without being the other stuff that they had kind of grown into over the years. So this one here, very interesting all the way through. I popped it on. I thought it was just going to be a few listens, okay, add it to the Bonfire collection. And I've really enjoyed it. I've pulled it out a number of times. In fact, it's become an album that I've been going to sleep to. That is how good it is. It's one of those albums that just sounds right and each track is good and it goes into the next one. So You know, if you were on the fence, I actually highly recommend checking out Bonfire's Higher Ground. I recommended to you guys The Ferryman. That whatever week that was, maybe 2 weeks back. This was supposed to have come out the same day, and it did. It's just I didn't get my copy. This one here would be another one I would highly recommend to you guys to check out. The vocalist, who simply goes by Dylan, has a really great voice. It's nothing uniquely special, so I don't mean it in that regard, but it stands out. He sounds like somebody you want to listen to, not just we have a vocalist. Now, this is a very fascinating guy that, had he been the original vocalist from back in the day, the band would have done just as good, kind of a thing. All right. The other new release that I picked up, Thundermother, Dirty and Divine. And I showed you guys this on the What Just Dropped episode, but I hadn't opened it. So slipcover, right? And then when you take that out, you get the actual album cover that is the art that you've probably seen everywhere on it. So I was a little surprised when it arrived like this. And, I don't know, the three babies, female babies, because it's all girl band. I don't know, doesn't rock hard for me, the image of that. And when they call it Dirty and Divine, but we have babies. So I don't know. I didn't think that was really a good album title for the album art. Go hand in hand. I totally get why they are what they are, but I don't know. I think that's a lot better. So anyways, this album is fantastic. If you know the story about Thundermother a couple of years back, big falling out between the guitar player and the singer. And when the singer was essentially fired from the band, the drummer and the bassist didn't feel that was right, and they stood with the singer and they left. And so 3 of the members left, formed the Gems. Fantastic album. They put it out last year, their debut album. But I didn't know what was going to happen with Thundermother. And Thundermother got, I say it's 3 new people because they were new to me, but somebody said the bass player is a previous bass player that has returned, but they've got 3 new people since I found the band in 2023 album that came out. This is fantastic, and not to say I don't like the vocalist that they had on the previous album who went off to sing with the Gems, because I do like her a lot. But the girl that's on here is absolutely outstanding. It has sold me. This album is better than the last album. I'm really, really enjoying it. If you want some good, straight ahead, hard rock from an all-female group or a female-fronted group, you like female hard rock vocals, Thundermother, check it out. I'm telling you, it's really, really good. Okay, those are the 3 new releases that I picked up. But the owner of Metallic Blue Records reached out to me, and I've been talking to you guys about some of the new stuff that has come out, and he sent me some stuff, and I want to share it with you guys. This one here, the first one up that I'm going to show you, is one I bought all on my own because I'm fascinated about the band's history. But he was nice enough to send it to me, and again, I want to share it with you guys. So Lethal X, 90 Tons of Thunder. So Lethal X, you guys remember the band Racer X? That's Lethal X. Okay, so they've morphed into Lethal X. Racer X, which had, of course, the big name attached to it, Paul Gilbert, because after Racer X ended, he went on to Mr. Big, right? But we had Jeff Martin, and we had other guys that were in here, worth their weight in gold in and of themselves. Okay, so Jeff Martin is in Lethal X here, continuing on. And then Harry Grosser, sorry, I got my computer here checking the names, is on drums. So we have those 2 guys from Racer X continuing on. And then they bring in 2 other people. We got Mike Sutzer on bass and Milan Pollock on guitar. And he's phenomenal. Paul Gilbert, absolutely outstanding. I don't think anyone can replace him, but if you need a really good guitar player, Milan Pollock, really good sounding stuff. So definitely in the vein of the original Racer X. And this one here, I definitely recommend. So new. So that's another thing to delineate here. A lot of the stuff that Metallic Blue Records puts out is archival material. And the next 3 things I'm going to show you are that. but they're getting into releasing some brand new albums, which I think is absolutely killer. I love archival material, but I think you have to move forward, live in the moment, be present, look to the future as well. And great to see that they've signed this band here and they're doing just that. And I bet you they got more coming down the pipeline. I'm sure I'll find out and be able to bring to your attention when that stuff happens. So the next band I want to talk to you about is a band called Tarzan. The album is Madrid. And the reason that I found this band to be interesting and intriguing and wanted to check them out is the keyboard player, Danny Peyronel, was in UFO, but also, do you guys remember Heavy Metal Kids? He was in Heavy Metal Kids. This is the album Kitsch. If you don't know this album, it's a really cool, interesting album that's got, hard rock sounds, but with like Queen flair to it. So really, really cool band, Heavy Metal Kids. So in the 80s, this album here, I think was 1990, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's 89. And they did have a debut album, and I think it was just self-titled, but they've reissued it as Taboo. So you have this album here, debut. And this one here was early on. This is 1984, and then this one here is 1989. So 5 years span between these albums. This one leans more on the hard rock metal side of things, and this is more of the AOR melodic rock sounding stuff. I like this album on its own. I would dig the sound of this. But out of the two of these, this album here is so good. I was not expecting how good this was. Official release came out on Atco Records. Don't know why. Never have heard of this band. They're from Spain. I'm not sure what Tarzan, because it's not Tarzan. Tarzan with a Z-E-N. Madrid is the title of it. Highly recommend checking this out. Go check out some sound samples of it and see what you think. But both of these, very interesting sounding pieces of music. And then this one here, not familiar with, Haven, Turn It Up. This band here has, the material on here goes back to 82, 83, 84, 85. So all music in that range, those 3-4 year period of stuff. I'm going to flip this over and show you. And you can see that all the different recordings that they made, an 85 EP, 84 7-inch, 83 demo, several of those 82 demo, and it goes on back. So this is a classic case of a band that they're gathering together archival stuff. The band was, as far as I understand, never signed to a major label or anything like that. So this isn't a reissue the way that both of these are reissues, right? These were officially released back in the day. They're being reissued. This, on the other hand, is material that has been collected together and put out. So while not new in the sense of like Lethal X, it is new. And it is so cool that Metallic Blue Records is getting out material from these artists. And that band, Haven, is also really good hard rock from the 82 to 85 era. Again, definitely worth checking out. I totally recommend heading over to their website and giving some, sound sample listens. If you stream anything, I'm sure you can check stuff out. But these 4 releases from Metallic Blue are definitely worth your time giving those a listen. So we'll move on into stuff that I picked up through my online searches and eBay visits and trips to the record store and all that sort of stuff. This one here is an eBay purchase. You guys know I've been getting into I've been into the helicopters for a couple years now, digging deep back into them. And last week was the brand new album Overdriver that came out. Initially, I wasn't into it. It really grew on me. Even after I did my comparative review that I did with Night Flight Orchestra, 2 killer Swedish bands going head to head, had fun with that one. And because of that, I just wanted some more. So their albums are so hard to come by. I never see any of them used. And even when they're on eBay or somewhere, they're really high priced. So you got to keep an eye out. And I finally found this one. Rock and Roll is Dead. This is the US edition on the Liquor and Poker label, a short-lived label that was really cool about getting out awesome hard rock stuff. This one has 2 bonus tracks on it that weren't on the original, I guess we'd call it European release. So that was nice. I almost went with the European edition just to get the original, succinct album. I'm kind of been experiencing that lately where there was once upon a time I wanted all bonus content I could possibly get. If there's bonus tracks on an album, I have to go get that, right? Now I'm more of the impression that I prefer the album as the band intended it. If it was 10 tracks, I only want to hear the 10 tracks. Not that I don't want those other things, but I don't think I want them on the album proper. I want them on a separate disc. I want it on a compilation. I want it somewhere else. But I want to hear the first song and the last song. That's the way CDs are, right? If it's LP, you have a first and last on side A and a first and last on side B. Same thing on cassette. So there is a different way you hear things when it's like that. And digitally, that is just not the case because things just blend in and you never know when something is ending and starting. And so, all in all, though, to say that this has the bonus tracks, I broke down and said, gonna go ahead and get it because there's 2 more tracks and I'm deep into this band. So I just added that to the collection. I have the brand new one. Eyes of Oblivion was where I started. Recently reissued as Head Off. So if you, like myself, are looking for more Helicopters, that just got reissued. You can go pick that up easily. By the grace of God, I found a Japanese edition somewhere, and this got reissued. Grande Rock, 2-disc edition where they remixed it. So you get the original and then you get the remix edition of it. And then now I finally added this one. I'm still missing, I don't know, 3 or 4 of their albums or something, but these 5 plus the brand new album, I now have 6 Helicopters albums in the collection, and one day, hopefully I'll have them all. All right, I've been digging deep into metal, all different power metal, and I don't know what you're calling Merciful Fate these days, but satanic metal, who knows? Digging into that sort of stuff. So I've kind of been going in a lot of directions metal-wise that I haven't, and I did do have a sort of a 20-year best of comp type thing from this band, so I was familiar with them, but I saw this, and this is, I want to say it's 1984, 1984, Running Wild, the debut album from them. Gates to Purgatory is the title of this, but I just saw it and it screamed metal. Look at the guys on the back of this, and I've always thought of these guys as pirate metal, and I know that they were one of the bands that at the forefront of that started that ended up creating a whole genre, and they do it really well. And I'm not really into pirate metal, but this early stuff early on, kind of like the Merciful Fate stuff, the lyrical content was very much into Satanism, that sort of stuff, very metal lyrically, in terms of that sort of stuff. But I gave it a listen, and I really, really dug it musically, and lyrically it is what it is kind of stuff. So I picked this up, but then I dug out that compilation that I had, which had a lot of stuff pulled from different albums, had some re-recorded, had some rarities, some unreleased tracks. So it was a very cool thing. 2 CD set, 20-year history of for the band. And I found that I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to dive deeper into this band Running Wild and check them out, including their pirate metal stuff, because I know it's going to be along the lines of the power metal sound and everything that I like. It's just the thematic lyrical content of it centers around pirates. Guess it's no different than fantasy or anything else out there. Certain bands focus on certain topics, and that's their topic. This next one here was one I wasn't even, looking for, trying to get, or anything of that nature. I told you that I recently had gotten into Merciful Fate. Becky Baldwin, the newest bass player for the band. I wanted to know who she was. I mistakenly had referred her to being part of Whitesnake, but that is totally spacing on the woman's name, Tanya O'Callahan. And I don't know why I connected the two different people. I think it was just simply that 2 female bassists joined big bands, and it happened around the same time, and it just got mixed up in my head. Sorry. Long story short, anyways, I looked into Becky Baldwin. I wanted to know more about her. I found out she has her own band called Fury. And here's the backside of it. I don't know if you can see the picture of her. There's two women, 2 men in the band. She plays bass. The other woman is a background vocalist, but male lead vocalist in here, guitar player. Actually, I'm thinking, I don't know that she's on the back side of this. Although when I flip this open, I'm going to explain why this is here in case somebody goes, yeah, there you go. 5 people there. And unless she's hidden in the smoke or she's the devil hand there holding that up, there's only 4 on the back side. So go figure. See, this is how confusion happens. It's not simply just making a mistake in the brain, right? Anyway, Fury, Becky Baldwin. If you're interested, you can go check this band out. It's good straight ahead hard rock music. The vocalist is absolutely outstanding. That's what pulled me into this. I was just looking into her. I hit on her Instagram page, was checking her out, wanted to hear what this was. I think there was a video or a snippet or something, and I checked that out. And I was duly impressed enough to order the CD right on the spot. Comes from the UK, took a while to get here, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, give or take. Yeah, it's definitely 3 weeks, but it's worth it. So definitely check her out if you're curious about her background and what it is that she's going to be bringing to Merciful Fate in terms of their brand new album. And I've been digging deeper into the band Sanctuary, talking a lot about Warrel Dane, the front man for the group. And so I picked up these 2 versions of, they're, put these in order. Debut, Refugee Denied, Epic Records. This is one that has been very hard to come by, very hard to find. I have a jewel case edition of this album here, Into the Mirror Black, but this one a 30th anniversary 2 CD edition that features a live album plus 3 bonus tracks on it. So I decided to pick this up since I was having such a big kick. It's also a 2017 remaster, and all that stuff from the late 80s, early 90s needs remastering. So I was glad to get a hold of this. This does sound beautiful, and absolutely loving this album here. I picked up Inception and shown that to you a couple weeks back, I think. And that one is a compilation of demos that led up to this album. And I fell in love with that and decided I had to track down this album here, and so glad that I did. Cool, early, I think this is 88, thrash metal. Warrel Dane, absolutely outstanding. The difference between the vocals on here and Nevermore is he sings in a high register here that he didn't really do in Nevermore, at least what I've sound sampled. I don't own any Nevermore albums, but it's a much more lower register that hasn't pulled me in. And I finally kind of understood the difference, not only musically, but vocally, why the Nevermore stuff doesn't sound as though what I had in my mind from Sanctuary, different vocal style that he's singing in. Dave Mustaine produced this album. I didn't even know that. I picked it up. I was looking at it. I'm holding it in my hand, and see, digital stuff, you're going to miss that. But I'm holding this in my hand, and I flip it over, and I look at the top, and it says produced by Dave Mustaine, and I go, no wonder I love this musically. And the story, of course, behind it, how the guitar player meets Dave Mustaine and how they get involved in production and so forth. Very, very cool. I like that a lot. So I showed you those 2 because I also picked up what was Warrel Dane's debut solo album, which is Praying to the War Machine. This has just been, well, I don't know, just been, but 2022, reissued. So it's been out of print for a long time. This is the gold disc edition. I don't buy into all that stuff, but there's 5 bonus tracks on this, including some acoustic versions of tracks on here. So Brutal Planet Records is putting this out. They've been doing a lot of cool reissues. I just picked up, I think I showed it to you last week, the Jeff Loomis second solo album that he did from 2012 got reissued. So it made me investigate this, and I kind of dug that. And if these things bug you like they do me, I don't like it when they inset an album cover and then write text on it. It's like, just give me the album cover. I do want to show you this. You can flip it over. The full album cover's on the back side of the booklet. You can turn that around. There's that gold disc. It legit is a gold disc. It's like they say, oh, it's for sound investment on the hype sticker, buying a gold disc. Whatever. That's a whole different topic to have with you guys at some point. But I think it sounds all the same as standard discs. And so far, I've got CDs that are 40 years old. Actually, they're going on 42 years now. And they're still sounding just fine. They haven't broken down. So longevity of stuff, I don't know. But anyway, there you go. That was the last one to show you guys. I think I've cleared everything out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. A little bit of background on all this cool stuff and why I pick it up. And like I said, it's always to try and turn you guys onto something. I hope in no way, shape, or form you guys ever feel as though any of these videos are kind of, quote, gloating about the stuff that I get or purchase for, it's just a matter of I want to share it with you guys. I love music. You love music. Let's share it. Let's all enjoy it together. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.